don't know about this, you and your dog are missing out. Visit dogmanews.com and join the movement now. Be our premium member today with 14 days trial. And enjoy the perks. Dog Mom News, your access point to dog tips, trends, and more.
Are you a dog mom that wants to build a deeper, more meaningful relationship with your pup? Do you dream of being the best dog mom you can be while creating an unbreakable bond with your dog? Introducing Dog Mom News' premium membership, the ultimate destination for dog moms who are ready to unleash the full potential of their relationship with their four-legged companion. With our premium membership, you'll gain exclusive access to a treasure trove of resources and tips and tricks from industry experts, all designed to help you become the dog mom you have always aspired to be. Imagine having a library of expert-led training resources at your fingertips, along with a community of like-minded dog moms cheering you on every step of the way.
I love this group. I love the community, and I love learning about everything you're posting to make sure that she's going to get the best life that she deserves.
But that's not all. As a premium member, you'll also receive exciting perks, such as monthly giveaways, exclusive discounts on top quality dog products, and access to members-only events where you can connect with fellow dog moms and industry experts. Don't wait any longer to embark on this incredible journey of dog mom excellence. Join Dog Mom News Premium membership right now and witness the joy, the love, and the growth that come along with being the best dog mom that you could possibly be. Visit our website and sign up for a free 14-day trial now for some of the best tips to unlock the full potential of your bond with your furry friend. Let's work together to create the pawsome future that you and your pup deserve. Dog Mom News is a digital platform where we highlight the unique relationships between dogs and dog moms. There's so much to talk about and so much to explore. Now, with Dog Mom News Live and in our show, we're going to be talking about a variety of topics, and you're going to be hearing from expert canine professionals, females in their industry who are doing amazing things. We're going to talk about topics of interest that some are serious and some are funny, but we're going to talk about dog health and viral dog videos and memes and posts from social media. So that's, of course, the fun, but we're also going to get really practical, and we're going to share training tips with you. And we're going to share, how you can work on your dog's nutrition. We're going to look at competitive sports and grooming, and we're going to hear from dog moms with huge hearts who are doing great things in their community and a lot of nonprofit work. Now, we want to make sure that you get involved in the movement. Of course, go to dogmomnews.com to learn more about what we're doing and to get involved. welcome to all of you amazing dog moms. I'm Karina Sullivan, and this is another edition of Dog Mom News, episode 33. It's hard to believe. We are so excited to spend this time with you, and we have a wonderful show to look forward to. So, how are all of you dog moms doing? We're in the middle of winter. Let us know in the comments box. Are you in the warm weather, a cold climate? If you are in a cold climate, what do you do? How do you bond with your dogs? Do you put on those little doggy booties and get out there and just brave the cold temperatures and the ice and snow? Or how do you get them exercise? I'm in South Florida. Those of us in the warm weather, we have no excuses, right? We need to get out there and get busy and love on our dogs and play. But how are you all doing? We want to know. Let us know in the comments section. Also, if you're ready for another great episode, go ahead and type woof in the comments section as well. Be sure to visit us at dogmomnews.com after the show, because we want you to join the movement and enjoy the journey with us. And while I have your attention, please do us a favor. Go ahead and hit the like button on this video on our YouTube channel. We want you to like, we want you to subscribe, and we want you to ring the bell, because when you do, you're among the first to know when we put awesome content out there. And believe me, we put a lot of great things out there that you will want to know about. All right, we have a wonderful show, as we said, in store for you. We're going to have a great time. We will spend time talking with former New York Times journalist, podcast host, and dog trainer Annie Grossman. Annie is the pack leader for the School for the Dogs in New York City, and we will discuss her upcoming book. It is going to be a very helpful interview, and you don't want to miss it. We're also going to be announcing our new show format, which will be coming to you live next month. So stay with us for all the exciting details. And of course, we're going to be doing a gift card giveaway towards the end of the show, and you don't want to miss it. First, it is time to jump into the world of bark-worthy doggy headlines in a segment we call Doggy Headlines. And our first story now from dogtime.com. An NBA player and his wife's Christmas miracle, reuniting a lost dog missing for 4 years with its owner. Utah Jazz player Kelly Olynyk and his wife Jackie Olynyk experienced a Christmas Day miracle, as we said, when they discovered a seemingly lost dog in a San Antonio parking lot. Little did they know this gray pup named Harley, who is incredibly cute, has been missing for 4 years. But get this, they were determined to find her owner. The Olynyks traced her through a microchip, overcoming challenges and setbacks. Look at those blue eyes. The heartwarming reunion unfolded as Harley leaped into her owner's arms, marking a remarkable holiday story of love and persistence. We can't get enough stories like this. That is amazing. And our next story now from iHeartDogs.com. An expectant pit bull mom refuses to go into labor in a shelter. This is a great story, and it's a heartwarming tale of doggy parenthood. Chris and Marisa, already parents to 12 dogs, welcome Story, a pregnant pit bull into their home. Now, Story, she was uncomfortable in the shelter and refused to go into labor. She said, no way. Well, a surprise ultrasound revealed 12 puppies, a dozen puppies, prompting the couple to prepare a home kennel. You better believe it. To their joy, Story ended up going into labor just 18 hours after leaving the shelter, highlighting the profound impact of a loving home. With the assistance of pit bulls and more animal rescue, all the puppies found caring new families, showcasing the compassion and dedication of dog lovers. What a wonderful outcome. Look at all those puppies in the wagon there. That's precious. All right, the next story now from doggingtonpost.com. Polish shelters call for help, and many step up to temporarily adopt dogs. In response to impending sub-zero temperatures in Krakow, Poland, KTOZ shelter appealed for temporary dog adoptions through Operation Frost. The plea aimed to protect over 300 dogs from severe frost, with temperatures expected to plummet to minus 20 degrees. Boy, is that cold. Well, unexpectedly, the response was overwhelming, with 177 dogs finding temporary homes within 2 days. The shelter had to suspend the project due to its unprecedented success, thanking the community for changing the fate of their animals. What a heartwarming story to hear. Our next story from iHeartDogs.com. A rescued Great Dane overcomes anxiety and finds love with a foster sibling. Meet Tofu, the Great Dane with a heart as big as his size. Initially an escape artist with severe separation anxiety, Tofu found solace in the company of his foster family, especially his foster brother Zoot. Now, despite being underweight and partially blind and deaf, Tofu's resilience and loving nature emerged thanks to the dedication of his foster mom, Jordan. Tofu transformed into a healthy, affectionate giant. While Tofu found a forever home, his heartwarming journey highlights the importance of fostering for shelter dogs in need. We should all do what we can, that's for sure. And next up from dogtime.com, Puppy Bowl 20, unleashing 130 plus adorable dogs for the 20th anniversary spectacle. Here's all the details. Puppy Bowl 20, marking its, of course, 20th anniversary, unveils an unprecedented 131 dogs. I mean, how many times can we tell you this? This is impressive, folks. From 73 shelters, earning the title of the most adorable puppy ever. Now, listen to this. The Puppy Bowl Hall of Fame debuts honoring 4 notable dogs, while special needs puppies, including Sweet Pea and Levi, find loving homes. 7 pups are already adopted, adding an extra layer of joy to the spectacle. Now, this is all scheduled for February 11th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on various channels. We do not want you to miss out on this incredibly heartwarming and entertaining event showcase. And the teams that go against one another, these are appropriate names, everyone. Team Fluff and Team Rough. Engaging and charming activities on a football-themed field. You don't want to miss it. And our last story now from iHeartDogs.com. Malcolm, the puppy with a big heart, overcomes hydrocephalus with love and joy. Malcolm here is a pint-sized pup, as you can see, defying odds, winning hearts. Born with hydrocephalus, it's a condition that's actually enlarging his head. And listen, Malcolm's journey, it's just one of incredible resilience and so much love. Rescued by a center specializing in hydrocephalic dogs, Malcolm charmed everyone with his cheeky personality. Look at that face. Adopted by a loving family, including a 14-year-old girl and 3 French bulldogs, Malcolm found his forever home. Despite initial challenges, Malcolm's heartwarming tale showcases the transformative power of love for dogs with unique needs. And those are your doggy headlines for the week of January 25th, 2024. If you happen to be online or on social media and you see a story that you think we need to know about, go ahead and tag us at Dog Mom News. And now it is time to welcome our first guest today, the guest today. She's amazing, in a segment that we call Bark in the Park. Today, we are thrilled to talk to journalist turned dog trainer Annie Grossman. Annie leads the School for the Dogs in New York City, focusing on training dogs to deal with life in the big city. And she is host of the popular How to Train Your Dogs with Love and Science podcast. Welcome to the show, Annie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. We're excited to just unpack so much together. But at Dog Mom News, we always like to start at the beginning. So I have to ask, where did your love for dogs come from?
um, it's like the cliche. Everyone who works with dogs is like, I always love dogs, but I definitely always loved dogs, and was always drawn to the dogs. I felt like I was always remember being a teenager and going at people's houses for parties, and I would be like in the corner talking to the dog rather than like drinking with everyone else.
Right.
But yeah, I remember very early on feeling, great love for dogs, as I think lots of little kids have a love for animals, but growing up in New York City, there was no 4-H club.
Right.
Wasn't in the backyard, like finding frogs. The animals that I had access to were cats and dogs.
There you go. Was there ever a defining moment where you realized, okay, this is more than just a hobby? Because you were a journalist. I mean, going from journalism to dog training, that's a big change.
Yeah. There was there a moment. I think there kind of was, and there wasn't. I never, as a kid, thought of that as a possible job. It just wasn't in like the realm of things that
Sure.
I considered one could be when one grew up. And people, who saw that I was drawn to animals might say, oh, you should become a veterinarian, but I couldn't imagine doing that. So I just kind of put it out of my head. And I remember at some point when I started sort of into my journalism career, my mom saying like, oh, maybe you could write about dogs. And even then, like, all I could think about was like people who write columns about like, I don't know, like how to clean your dog's ears or something. And I was like, it doesn't sound that exciting to me.
Right.
But I always had it in the back of my head, like it would be really interesting to train dogs, or to even know, I have no idea of sort of what that involved. And when I was going around pitching article ideas, I would write these, long lists of just anything that came to mind. And at some point I pitched an editor at the New York Times style section about how there were people becoming dog trainers as the kind of plan B job. I had done a similar article about everyone becoming yoga teachers. I thought maybe I could write about people becoming dog trainers. So I had a chance during doing that article to think about it a little bit more. And really what I came up with was there's a lot of charlatans out there. That was my takeaway.
Now, did it make you kind of see, oh, maybe I could do this too, right? I mean, when you're talking about people leaving other professions and then stepping into the unknown or this new territory, I'm also curious how your experience as a journalist shapes what you're doing today, because everything in life, I feel like, happens with purpose.
Yeah, or with hindsight, you could say it happens.
Right, exactly. And the moment we don't always see it, right? It's like, ooh, this is a little painful. Yeah.
So I wrote this article for the New York Times in 2007 about people becoming dog trainers, which in my forthcoming book, I actually talk about how I wrote this article and how like cringy it is when I go back and look at it, because I see that I was doing what so many journalists I think do today in terms of dog training, where they don't consider that what a big topic it is, how to train your dog, and it becomes sort of very narrowly about treating dogs as if they're humans. And also I think a lot of even really good journalists operate with a lot of misinformation about what dog training is, and the fact that it's an application of the science of behavior and not something that we should accept as being rooted in myth and lore. But that's so prominent in our culture that a lot of people who I think are very fine thinkers do not consider it as something having to do with science. Anyway, when I wrote this article, my takeaway was like, there are a lot of people out there who don't really seem like they know what they're doing.
Right.
Know how to do this. This doesn't seem like, didn't seem like like trustworthy enough or something.
Right.
And
Like
then
imposter syndrome, right? I mean, we see a lot of that today. People pretending to be the expert. I think
yeah.
especially with social media, people can create a persona, right?
Mhm.
And maybe they don't always have the training to back it. You mentioned the word charlatans. That's kind of a big statement, but you did a lot of research. So let's talk about the lack of regulation. I think that's what
Yeah.
we're alluding to in the industry. How do you ensure ethical standards are upheld in your training programs? Obviously, you're really passionate about it, and we want to guard against that cognitive dissonance of saying we want to be something but then not really doing it. I know you care about this.
Yeah. Well, just to back up a little bit to continue on what I said, I did end up finding a program called the Karen
Great.
Pryor Academy,
Mhm.
which I went to because I met someone whose father was like a criminal prosecutor and was talking about his father had just done this program. And I was like, a guy who was a retired criminal prosecutor probably didn't go to just any program.
That's right.
And it was really life changing to me because it made so much sense. It's like I hadn't even thought about what dog training really was until I did this program, and I certainly didn't expect that it would like change my point of view about all animal behavior in the world the way it has. Which to me, as I then went out to start my career as a dog trainer, seems so obvious. Like obviously, we should be working with animals, meeting them where they are, respecting the fact that we are bringing these the species into our homes where where it's operating by our rules, putting them in environments that are not necessarily easy. I live in New York City, not easy for many people, let alone dogs. We're asking a lot, and they don't have a lot of say. We can say like, my dog chose me, but really probably your dog doesn't
They
have
can
so much.
say that.
And when they do try and let us know, like, hey, I'm uncomfortable, I'm fearful, this is not okay, too often they end up doing it with their teeth.
Yes.
And,
There you go.
things don't end well for anyone. So for me, coming from Karen Pryor Academy previously to that, sort of not knowing very much at all about dog training, and I should mention Karen Pryor was working with information that came pretty much directly from her to her from B.F. Skinner, who was kind of considered the father of the science of behavior, working from the 1930s to the 1990s. Huge figure that I had never heard of. And when I became familiar with his work, that too made so much sense to me. And then I kind of went from there to starting my own business to seeing, oh, this isn't obvious. Like this isn't obvious to everyone else.
Yes.
And in the US, it's completely unregulated. Anybody can say, I am a professional dog trainer. Anyone could even say they're certified because you could be certified by yourself, right? And there are a lot of people operating under some really dangerous misconceptions, I think, when it comes to dog training, in a time and place where sadly these things aren't obvious, despite all the research that's been done, despite all that we know and that we can do as far as helping to give dogs their best lives in the environments we choose for them. I think too many people are resorting to techniques that are rooted in pain, coercion, and myth and misinformation.
It's terrible. What do you think needs to happen from a regulatory standpoint?
That's a really good question. I tend to think less about how can we change the laws, although I think I'm not against that, and more about how can we change the way people think about this.
There you
go. Because of course there should be laws, for instance, against not abusing your children. But I don't, the laws are not what's keeping me from abusing my children. And I would like it to be that obvious that we should avoid using these unnecessarily harsh and kind of like retrograde training methods with dogs, and relying on again, like myth, when there's so much better information out there, not because it's illegal, but because it shouldn't be done. What I think the scariest thing is actually the use of shock collars and how acceptable that is in our culture, which is not true all over the world. There are plenty of places where shock collars are illegal, but partially because so many of the homes that have these shock collars in them also have children in them. And you can go onto YouTube and find video after video after video of kids wearing shock collars, kind of playing around with it. Sometimes you can find parents with their kids sort of wearing it and playing around with it. And I just think, like, how many videos like this are happening that are not YouTube?
Right. Exactly.
You
I
can
mean,
buy these.
it's ridiculous. I mean, it is, in a sense, it can be used as it is used as a tool to redirect. And in some cases it's harming. You would think that we would put that up away out of a child's reach. But anyway, we could go down that rabbit trail forever. I love your heart to educate. I'm sitting here thinking, you're a journalist. Once a journalist, always a journalist at heart, in my mind. You care about educating people. You want to put valuable, helpful information out there. That's why you're now a published author. That's why you're podcasting, because let's be honest, that's extra. That's in addition to what you're doing in the day to day. So I applaud you for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You talked about some challenges in New York City, because let's just, in our own context, everybody's kind of in a different environment, different situation, suburban, urban, rural, and we could go on and on. But, I'm in South Florida, you're in New York City. I want to know about the unique challenges that you face from a training standpoint in New York City.
I mean, I think that today, just today, I was talking to somebody about how the fact is, even if you take away the sort of tight quarters and the fact that dogs live in these cramped spaces with other dogs unavoidable on the streets, even if you take all that away, the fact is, so many people in New York are out a lot, like having to, busy. it's not a land of
the lazy. No.
People like, chilling and relaxing,
No.
which is just another factor, I think, in what makes it complicated to have a dog.
Yes.
Is it's, you're running home from work to walk the dog and making
Yes.
sure the dog is getting what they need in these cramped, not only in the cramped space, but with the constraints of a very busy life.
You've got the stimulation, you've got the taxi, but the
Yeah.
people run.
Yeah.
And that's a lot for a dog.
And noises that can't necessarily be masked or avoided. I mean, think about your average dog, what your average dog hears in the hallway of your apartment building all the time, and encountering other dogs on the street in ways that really are not that easy to avoid, on streets that, sure, maybe you could avoid them by taking a walk at 5 a.m. with your dog, but maybe that's not what feels safe. I think all of that means that it's not easy or obvious to own a dog in New York City. It's not for everyone, and it's not for every dog.
Sure.
That said, I think at School for the Dogs, being that is our specialty, we have some really amazing people that we work with who come to us either because they're facing problems and they want to figure out how they can address these problems in a way that's going to ideally allow them to keep their dogs in their homes, or if not, how they can figure out another situation that's going to be good for that dog. Or because people have puppies and they just want to get it right. They want to make sure that they're setting up their lives and their dog lives for success, that they're keeping their dogs engaged and healthy and mentally active and challenged and all these things. That it's like, how wonderful that people want this for, again, these animals that do not have a big choice about whether or not they live with us. But like, if this is your hobby, like, I think the journalist in me knows, like, the sort of trope of, like, today Lucy got a manicure and then Lucy went for her tutoring. Lucy's a poodle. Like I've read so many, like, articles that, like, and journalist, I get that. But now as a dog trainer, I think like, what a beautiful hobby. What a beautiful hobby that this is like what you are choosing to do to give this animal you love a really wonderful life. And comparing it to, comparing when you start to think about it as a hobby rather than as a kind of child's replacement, which comes with a certain amount of judgment. I love the effort people put into their relationships with their dogs, and doing it with like love and kindness, in the same way people put love and kindness into their relationships with their cars.
Speaking of loving kindness, I don't know if you heard the creaking door, but it just opened in my office studio here, and look at what I got. I got a special delivery from my daughter.
Oh,
I can't get too mad at her for that, right? Messing with the audio, but she put a little note on here. It says, "We love you so much. Thank you for all you do for our family." Wasn't that sweet? Don't
sweet.
me if I'm crying over here a little bit.
That's positive reinforcement, right?
Positive reinforcement. And we should love our dogs like we love our people, right? But we have a Louis bear. He looks like this. He's a little cockadoodle poo. So he's a cockapoo and golden doodle mix. And he is like, oh, he brings us so much joy. You wouldn't believe it. Sorry for that little side note there, but
That's sweet.
It makes sense of the creaking door. And it just made me so happy. And I looked at her and I said, I love you. Thank you. But I'm all locked in on you. But positive reinforcement, that's what we're talking about, how it's effective in relationships with humans and with our dogs. And you touched on the shock collar not being the best approach to kind of redirecting our dogs. So tell us how you approach that with training. Like, we want to lovingly redirect and then reinforce the right habits, right?
Well, I mean, I think redirect is often a euphemism to bother your dog in order to get their attention, when I think that we can just as easily get our dog's attention by teaching them to, for instance, if you're redirecting a dog, often it means that if they come to you, it's a good thing. So why not teach them to come to you?
Just come to you. Just do it.
Yeah. And why are they coming to you? Because they want to, not because
right.
they're trying to avoid something or avoid pain. And one problem I think with shock collars is that, or really any aversive tool, is that to use them well, it requires skill. And even then there can be a lot of problems that result, even if you're a very skilled user. And I don't think a lot of people are skilled users, but I feel that an important thing for people to understand about positive reinforcement is that it's not about like heart, stars, flowers, and kindness.
Sure. Yes.
Technically, it is a technical term. Positive means that something is being added to the equation in order to encourage the likelihood of behaviors going to happen again. So what behavior was your daughter just reinforcing? Well, I guess maybe you sitting at a desk talking to someone she doesn't in a weird way.
Yeah.
Certainly, it doesn't hurt this behavior. And it would be possible to use something painful as a positive reinforcer if the animal you're dealing with enjoys pain for whatever reason. So it's not so much a value judgment on the tool. I mean, anything could be a punisher or a reinforcer depending on the animal you're working with. And punishment also is a technical term that means the behavior is being discouraged. So when we use terms like, redirecting, usually it means punishing because you're discouraging a behavior. But punishment is such a loaded word.
And what about discipline? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, discipline would be an example of punishment, but punishment isn't necessarily discipline. Punishment is anything that discourages a behavior. I mean, discipline, if someone enjoys discipline, then discipline could be reinforcing, but it's about the dog that you're dealing with, about the person that you're dealing with, and understanding what is right for them.
And truly knowing your dog, taking the time to really know your canine, right? Because if you can be with your dog, but not really know your dog, if you're not really focused and connecting.
And one thing that I suggest everyone do is literally make a list of what your dog is into.
Yes.
You know, what is your dog like, and then how can you meet out those rewards? You know, we're in a pretty lucky situation where with our dogs, as you know, in this kind of weird, you know, relationship that we're in, where we're the ones choosing the parameters of the relationship, and you know, we control all the things that they want, and that means that we could give access to those things with really good timing, and sort of at the heart of what I like to call the dog training triad is management, rewards, and timing. You want to sort of like figure out how you can create a situation, a stage for your dog, sort of like how can you create, I call it like a yellow brick road. How can you figure out a path for your dog that your dog is going to want to be on? They're not even going to realize, you know, Dorothy never gets off the yellow brick road because there's also things happening on the yellow brick road. How can we create management that's with as little like barbed wire as possible? Literally, how can we change the environment, because environment is what controls the behavior.
Almost like bumpers when you're bowling, right? Like they're gentle, gets the ball where it needs to go.
Right. You know, and we do this sort of in an obvious way with children, right? You don't wait for your kid to smack their head into the side of the table and then yell at them for smacking their head on the side of the table.
Yes.
So I think with dogs, like we have the opportunity to very tightly control how they're spending their time, their energy, where they're spending their time and their energy. And not that we can do that forever and all the time, but that's where we should be starting. Like, I think we should always be starting by thinking of like, what can I do from the outside to literally control the environment? Because the environment is what is going to control the behavior. Then I want to figure out what my dog is really into. Does my dog like being patted? What does my dog prefer being left alone? Does my dog like hot dogs? Does my dog like blueberries? Whatever.
That's right.
Who does my dog like to spend time with? What does my dog like to spend time doing? And then you want to figure out how you can deliver those rewards with really good timing. You want to make sure that you are pairing the good behavior with the good thing. And big picture, that's what I feel like a lot of dog training breaks down into.
So helpful. I'm sitting here, Annie, listening to you talk, and I'm thinking, wow, that's so insightful. We could spend a lot of time chatting together. And I'm thinking dog moms at home are probably thinking, I want to hear more of what Annie has to say. And I know you have so many helpful courses offered at your training center. Can you walk us through some of the options that pet owners have to choose from?
Yeah. So we have a storefront location in East Village of Manhattan, School for the Dogs. It started out in my apartment 13 years ago. And now we have a beautiful 2-story facility where we host all kinds of classes, lessons, workshops, and playtimes. One really cool thing we do is we have kind of like puppy playtime, but then we have what we call schoolyard, which is like adult dog playtime, a time that dogs can be together off leash in a very kind of like curated environment with a trainer there to be able to make sure that everybody's getting along well, having a good time, and that everything's appropriate. Because when you think about it, like what a difference it would make to have someone in charge at every dog park, because every dog park you go to, everybody's an expert and nobody wants to like, at least I know when I go to the dog park, like I don't want to get involved with what anyone else is doing. Like, I don't want anyone to get mad at me. But I also want my dog to be safe.
Yeah, of course. That's key.
You know, again, a clean, controlled environment.
Yes.
So that's one really special thing we do. And then we have classes running the gamut from puppy kindergarten all the way to what we call grad school. We have various kinds of tricks classes. One of my favorites is called Barcore. We basically teach sort of like how you can exercise your dog inside or using like park benches or things that like are accessible. to tire them out, especially if you're in a small space with little time, especially in the colder weather. And then we have a couple classes that are very specifically about working with a dog on urban sidewalks. One is called urban leash walking, which is sort of like defensive driving, but for dog walking. And then we have one called sidewalk psychos, which is a very popular class that is for dogs who have issues on the street, often issues with other dogs. And because we have this space and you're in downtown New York City, we're able to curate the space, curate the classes so that dogs are exposed to each other and other stimuli little by little by little, eventually to the point where they can work outside.
Great.
So yeah, we also do lots of virtual programs. One thing that we have is called Training Club, which is an opportunity for people to work in group coaching sessions virtually with our trainers and take advantage of our library of online courses. And I'm very excited about my new book that's coming out.
What can you tell us about it? We're so excited for you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. It's called How to Train Your Dog with Love and Science. It's being published by Source Books. And it's a real kind of, it's a how-to book, but I would also say it's, I don't know, maybe like 20% memoir, and another 30% sort of history of the science of behavior over the last century and a half. Because I found when I got interested in dog training, I was like, where did this come from? Like, how did someone just figure this out? Like, I wanted to know more. And I sort of knew that it had to do with like dolphin training and the history of dolphin training, which I was like, who wouldn't want to know more about the history of dolphin training? So, and it took me, as I started to kind of learn myself about the history of the science of behavior, I saw how exciting it was to be able to train dogs as a kind of way to engage with this really interesting part of the history of psychology over the last century. I felt like I was able to kind of do like, I don't know, mini experiments with experiments that were purely about having a good time with my dog and helping my dog enjoy life. Because the history of dog training comes from Karen Pryor, who was herself a dolphin trainer. Prior to that, it was in Skinner's lab. And then there was this crazy sort of interim period where some of B.F. Skinner's students peeled off and started their own business training animals for amusement parks and for TV shows. And I grew up at the local arcade with a chicken that played tic-tac-toe.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
There were two chickens. One danced, one played tic-tac-toe, and I used to go to these chickens all the time. I was fascinated by them.
Sweet.
And little did I know that these chickens, these tic-tac-toe playing chickens, were actually trained by the students of B.F. Skinner. So I kind of tell this story of like my own interaction with these trained chickens
and how it all works together in your life. And I can just look at you and your body language, and I know there's just so much that you have gleaned and researched and gathered. And to think that we can tap into your insight and wisdom in your book, which is now available for pre-order, by the way. All right, we need to celebrate that. Go dog moms, let's make sure we get a copy of this, right, Annie? We want to support you. It's great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's something I'm endlessly excited about, and I think that a little bit of information, or just like, I my passion is really just sort of helping turn people on to like what an interesting window sort of dog training is into. And then once you're sort of in that world, it's endlessly fascinating. The other thing that I talk about a lot in my book is body language. I think it's really important that everybody learn a little bit about dog body language, even if you're not a dog person. I wish that there was, I don't know, an hour of school once a year for kids devoted to learning about dog body language, because once you just are able to tune in a little bit to it, not only I think can that keep people safe, because they can back off from dogs who are unhappy and figure out, ideally what's causing that unhappiness. But it also makes a lot of what I think of as like bad dog training really obvious. And part of what I do in the book is dissect some of Cesar Millan's dog whisperer episodes to sort of break down what it actually looks like if you're reading the body language of these dogs that he's working with.
Yes, it's great. And your podcast ties into your book, and you recently rebranded your podcast to change it to How to Train Your Dog with Love and Science. So what can listeners expect from your podcast?
The podcast has been a sort of a really fun project that I've been working on since 2018. I almost think of it as a kind of like collage. And in some ways it was a bit of the process, I think, of reporting my book was doing the podcast and speaking to different people in the podcast. A lot of those interviews made their way into the book in one way or another. I have some episodes that are very much how to teach a sit, how to walk a dog on a loose leash in an urban environment. But then because it's my podcast and I can do what I want,
You go,
there
girl.
are definitely episodes where I just enjoy going down a rabbit hole having to do with some aspect of the fascinating world of animal behavior and behaviorism. And it's also been a really wonderful opportunity to talk to some of the finest dog trainers out there right now, and not only get tips from them, but also kind of learn. I mean, I feel like I'm constantly learning as a dog trainer, and it's everything I learn as a dog trainer, and I find informs some other part of my life in a way that I find really rewarding.
All right. So dog moms, you heard it. You want to make sure that you subscribe to How to Train Your Dog with Love and Science with Annie, because it's amazing and it will be worth your time for sure. Annie, this has been so good. So good that we are going to take a break from this segment and come back here in a few minutes for part 2 to continue this conversation. And then we'll wrap up this interview. How does that sound to you?
Sounds great.
Make sure to go ahead and like this video, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell so you can stay on top of all of the amazing content that we put out there. All right, our staff has a way of going through all the awesome dog videos out there and then just giving you the best, funniest, most laugh out loud dog videos. And we're going to share them with you now in a segment we call Bark Out Loud. All right, check it out. We're going to have some imitation going on here, like dog mom, like dog child. That is incredible. Okay, this next one spent too much time vacuuming the carpet, so I decided to go straight to the source. And the dog is like, oh yeah, ooh, that feels so good. Listen to this. My dog snores like a cartoon character. Sure does. Oh, this one makes me laugh. Nope. That's my dog, my food, my dog mom's food. No, get out of here. You cannot have it. He cannot have it, dog mom, right? No, you cannot have it. No way, no how. All right, let's watch this play out. The cat's like, oh, I want to go in, but it's a little risky. Maybe if I go under the recliner here and I just try to poke my head up a little bit and try to get to him, but I have to be careful. So one paw at a time. I'm gonna get it. Ha ha ha, I win. All right, she was so excited to show me. She made a mess while I was at work. Yes, you did. Oh, how thoughtful of you. When you hit the right spot. Okay. She's like, just
Callie.
grab it already. Just grab it. Okay. The perfect folding table doesn't. Yes, it does. That's the perfect folding table right there. Cutest, best folding table in town. Do you agree, Dog Mom?
You deserve steak, Haley.
You do,
Have you
Haley.
been a good girl?
Have you?
Do you
Do you deserve
steak?
this? Oh,
You don't
you
deserve
sit
steak.
so nicely. But do you sit like this? Can you sit like that? Perfect posture and all. You are amazing. Give him that steak. All right, expectation here. We want you to do this. But here's reality. Right, Dog Moms? Not a chance.
Tell me your little dog's a bully without telling me they're a bully.
Okay, little dog. Just what I needed to see. Those videos are like medicine, aren't they? They're amazing. Okay, well, now it is time to continue our interview with the wonderful, the amazing Annie Grossman in our segment called Bark in the Park. And today we have the honor and privilege of visiting with trainer or journalist turned trainer. She's a wonderful trainer, bottom line. Annie Grossman. Annie leads the School for the Dogs in New York City, focusing on training dogs to deal with life in the big city. And Annie, welcome back. We're just thrilled to have you and have part 2 of this conversation. It's ongoing. So much to cover.
Happy to be here.
Well, we mentioned that you have a book that's officially releasing this summer, but I think the big news today is that we can pre-order the book, correct? Walk us through all the exciting things going on with your book.
Yep, you can pre-order at through January 26th. You can get 25% off at Barnes & Noble's when you order it there using the code PREORDER25. And I'm also doing an offer right now on my website. Which is anniegrossman.com. If you upload the invoice or your proof of purchase, I'll send you a free clicker and a sticker.
Right.
I have.
That's awesome. Let's go. How generous of you. We appreciate it.
There are a bunch of different stickers. One is
There you go. Plain name, just put it out there. You shoot from the hip. I like it. All right. So the book is called How to Train Your Dog with Love and Science. And walk us through some of the key insights that you offer dog owners in the book.
I am someone, as you can probably tell from this conversation, who gets excited about the science of it and how much it makes sense on kind of like a big level. And of course, there's also all the research that's being done on how to train better and better and better. But I like to kind of think about the like fifth grade version of how we can understand the science of behavior and learning theory. And a lot of it breaks down to conditioning, operant conditioning, and classical conditioning. And operant conditioning is what we tend to think of when we think about dog training. If I sit, then I get a treat. Or if I jump, then I get attention. All the kind of like if-thans. Whereas classical conditioning is what Pavlov demonstrated in the late 1800s, is more learning by association. So, most people are familiar with Pavlov. He pushed a buzzer. It got translated to English as a bell. So we talk about Pavlov's bell, but he made a sound, gave the dogs food, sound, food, sound, food, sound, food. Eventually the sound was enough to get the dogs to salivate, but nobody ever thinks about what the dogs were doing because there was no requirement for them to do anything in order to get the food. It was just an association that they weren't making, and whether they barked or peed or did the polka, they were going to get that food. It didn't matter. There certainly were behaviors that must have been reinforced because behavior's happening all the time. So I bet some of those dogs did inadvertently learn to, I think they were tied up, so I'm not sure how much they could do, but learn to lick their nose or whatever. but it was, at the end of the day, it was really about changing the association in order to trigger an innate behavior like salivation, something that can't be controlled, by a stimulus that was not something they were born knowing about. They, just like your dog is not born knowing that, like, the crinkling of the dog food bag means food is coming, and yet many dogs will come running as soon as you make that
Yes.
sound. So a lot of training, I think, comes down to noticing the kinds of associations your dog is making and how you can think about creating new associations or changing associations in order to change behavior. So while the book also then does get into operant conditioning, which is, like I said, more of what we tend to think about when we think about dog training, and can be a lot of fun, especially when you think about how you can build complex behaviors by shaping things little by little, incrementally, positively reinforcing things to the point of getting really, really fun new behaviors. I like to think of this as kind of a beginner's guide to thinking about the more basic kind of learning, those associations that are being made before requiring any specific behavior from a dog. And,
is building trust, or how much does trust play into all of this between the dog, really the dog trusting us, that we're going to meet its needs, we're going to care for it in the right ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the book talks only about teaching a handful of behaviors, not because it's not important to teach more behaviors than that, but I made the choice to encourage people to think more about building blocks, how they can just teach sort of things that later could be built into something larger. Specifically, I really love teaching people how to get their dogs to do a touch or targeting behavior. Mm-hmm. Often it's as simple as teaching a dog to touch your fingers, which most dogs will learn right away. Just yesterday, I was working with my neighbor's dog and my daughter, my neighbor dog. I'd never worked with my neighbor's dog before, and I got her touching my fingers within like 5 seconds. And my daughter was like, "How did you do that?"
Oh, wow.
I'm a dog trainer.
Awesome like that, just awesome. It's so great. You have so much experience, and I'm curious as to maybe some of the most frequently asked questions that you get or common issues that pet owners face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone wants their dog to eliminate somewhere else than they're eliminating. And so constant.
Right, there's one.
And there's every iteration of that question always comes up from like,
sure.
My dog will only pee in the yard, but I don't want my dog to pee in the yard. I want my dog to pee when I take him out for a walk, or my dog, I want my dog to go in the yard so that I don't have to wake up at 6 in the morning.
Yes.
In New York City, often it's, how do I deal with the fact that I live on the 32nd floor and have a puppy? And I mean, the short answer is I think we need to accept that there might not be one answer for every dog. Like there are extreme situations. I know people in New York City who have dogs who are so anxious about going outside that they have had to have their dogs pee inside. I did for a while with my dog. I had a potty patch, which worked well while she was still getting used to the city and was a little too anxious to go outside. But I also think a lot of it is about not expecting too much of them too soon. Sometimes people end up taking, for instance, like their puppies on these epic walks to try in the effort to keep them out as long as possible until they go. And it can lead to dogs being fearful of being outside.
You don't want to take on too much at one time with your dog, right? You kind of want to master the simpler behaviors and then add on a little bit from there, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And the more that you teach a dog, the better you get. I mean, if you're doing it right, you should be getting better and better at teaching, and your dog is going to be getting better and better at learning to speak your language, learning to read your cues. And if one reason that I love seeing so many people who we work with doing silly tricks with it, teaching their dog silly tricks. It's not because it's important whether the dog can play dead or bark on cue or whatever, but because they're like flexing their muscles, like they're building their ability to teach anything that's important. So if you have a dog who can, you know, go get you a beer from the fridge, you have a dog who's like, who has a good understanding of how to figure out what it is that you want, and you have a better chance of really being able to teach your dog something quick when it's super necessary, which can mean keeping your dog safe in a situation where they might not otherwise be safe, and ideally, like, dog training should be about making our dogs' lives happy and safe.
Absolutely. And whether it's complex or simple, either, if your dog is doing something, they're bonding with you, and it's a good time. It shouldn't be drudgery for us. I mean, spending time with our dogs is really a gift.
Ideally, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So tell me this, you have so many exciting things happening with your dog training business. So do you have any future plans or any short-term goals? Anything you want to share with us?
I'm really excited about some of the stuff we have going on at School for the Dogs. We are working on expanding our nonprofit efforts. At the end of 2023, we were able to raise $30,000, which is going to go directly to help people who can't access good dog training with professional guidance, usually one-on-one. And we're really passionate about making sure that dog training can be accessible to everyone, specifically good dog training, which often does require something of a coach or a mentor. It's another reason why I'm really excited about our training club, because I think having that opportunity to meet on the regular with a professional who can help guide your dog training journey, that word always seems silly to me, journey, can be extremely valuable at a price point that's achievable. And because I don't like this idea that positive reinforcement dog training is some sort of luxury activity. This is something that we have to, a lot of dog trainers have to charge a lot for, because they're operating businesses. For us, we're operating a business in the middle of New York City. But ideally, I wish it were obvious to everyone. And short of that, I wish that, that everyone could access good information at little or no cost.
I love your heart to give back and to make this more accessible. That's huge. And when you talk, I know your standards are so high, and they should be, because you're dealing with, not only with your customers and their happiness with their dog, but you want to do it in the most humane way that's backed by science. Is that ever challenging for you, finding people whose views align? I mean, are there a lot of people out there who share your same beliefs? I know it might be a challenge, but I know that you're dedicated and you care about it.
I mean, I think that we've put out there how we work and what we feel and how we believe, and we've gotten many people back who have been into what we're doing. I mean, we have helped something like 10,000 dog owners in the last 12 or so years. And we've also had the privilege of guiding the careers of about a dozen dog trainers who have worked with us through our professional course to apprentice with our trainers. And that's, endlessly gratifying to know that people have come through being a student or through the podcast and realize, actually this is what I want to be doing with my life, and now are doing that. I think if there's a challenge as a business owner, it's marrying that, this passion that I have give this thing away and make it as accessible as possible with the realities of running a business.
Right. You can't give it away for free. It's a business. You probably your heart.
Well, for instance, we have plenty of, we have a drop-off program where we have like a 1 to 3 trainer to dog ratio, and we cap it at 6. I would probably make a lot more money if we had 12 dogs.
Sure. But you want to do it the right way.
But we want to make sure that it's the good experience for every one of those dogs. And in order to do that and do that right with the space that we have in downtown New York City, we have to make those kinds of choices. And, if it's between the business's bottom line and the dogs, it becomes a challenging choice.
Right.
But so far, I think our clients would agree that we've made the right choice and have been able to really help a lot of people give their dogs the best possible lives.
Mm-hmm. And I think we all watching and after talking to you, we know where you lean when you're talking about that tension. Yeah, I love your heart to give back, to help people have more access to this training, the helpful information that you're putting out there. So for dog moms watching who want to learn more about your training methods, listen to your podcast, where can they find more information, Annie?
AnnieGrossman.com. You can find linked by the book there, as well as a special offer to get a clicker and a sticker when you order. You can also learn more at schoolforthedogs.com. You can find information about our in-person offerings there and our virtual offerings. And I'll give you guys a link you can share as well to maybe our body language webinar is something that your viewers would like. So I'll make sure you can get that to you so you can include it in the show notes. But that's like an hour-long presentation on how to understand dog body language in a way that I think is really easy to digest. And like I said, really, really important.
That's really kind of you. Thank you so much, Annie. Writer, dog trainer, podcaster, head of the School for Dogs in New York City, and just an all-around awesome person. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
All right, dog moms, do you know what time it is? What do you think? Can you guess? What have we been missing in this episode? Dog meme time. That's right. It's dog meme time. Let's go ahead and roll the intro. All right, our first meme. My brain says, don't pet it, don't pet it, don't pet it. Oh, don't pet it, don't pet it. Me, who's a good boy, who's a good boy. How can we resist them? Our next meme. Look at these eyes. When you see it, you won't believe it. Look at those eyes. Be careful with my baby, please. Oh my. Oh, it's like, gets my heart. It's so sweet. And our next one, when someone says good morning, but you haven't been up long enough to comment on the quality of the morning, I mean, please give me some space. And while you're at it, give me a little time. I'm still processing. Might need some coffee too. All right, look at this next one. You've got some options, dog moms. I want you to choose your fighter, okay? Cutie dog with goggles, a Chihuahua in the Cheetos bag, a golden here just chugging the Pepsi, or this amazingly talented dog that can just go ahead and balance corn on its head. What's your choice? Well, let us know in the comments. How would I choose? I don't know. They're all super cute. All right, the next one. Yes, I know. I've gotten hair all over the couch. It's called furniture, isn't it? What's the problem here? It's furniture. Really made me laugh. All right. All food must go to the lab for testing. So, the lab's just doing what it's supposed to do, testing the food, right? Not a problem here, I'm sure. And now, let's go ahead and look at our quote for the show. Sometimes the best medicine is a dog who thinks their love can cure you. Isn't that the best? That's so true. Our dogs are like medicine. Their affection, their love, their joy. I mean, how excited does your dog often get when it sees you? It's like the best compliment in the world. So we sure do love them. Hope you love those memes too. All right, I want you to go ahead and hit the like button on this video. It helps us grow and bring you more Dog Mom news. And make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and ring the notification bell so you can see lots more funny meme segments, so you can see more great interviews. We're putting fantastic content out there all the time. And when you ring the bell, you actually get notifications when we put things out there. So go ahead and do it, Dog Moms. You will love it. The content is amazing. And speaking of amazing content, if you haven't already joined our premium monthly membership, you definitely need to. Go ahead and do it. Head on over to dogmomnews.com/premium to gain special access to our monthly membership with incredible features like monthly prizes and contests, expert dog training tips from top trainers. You'll get your chance at a dream vacation getaway. You'll love expert tips in pet health and expert dog grooming tips and helpful tips from dog nutritionists and on and on. And of course, lots of discounts, coupons, and lots of free stuff in the doggy world. And this monthly membership, it's just jam-packed with valuable information that's designed to help to increase the bond between you and your pup. So go ahead and do it now. Well, after the show, head on over to dogmomnews.com/premium and sign up for a free 14-day trial. We just know that you're going to love it. All right. What an excellent episode we have enjoyed together today. We got to visit with former New York Times journalist and dog trainer, Annie Grossman. She is a fantastic woman doing such wonderful things. Thank you again for your time, Annie. And we want you to be sure to join us for our next episode, which will be at the end of next month. And it's going to be a really special time. You do not want to miss it. It's actually a training special featuring guests and Q&As and giveaways. So please be sure to follow us on social media at Dog Mom News to keep informed of all of the details of this show and so much more. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Remember, I don't want you to miss this. The fun does not have to stop here. We want to invite you to interact with us on social media. If you see something online that's interesting and dog news related, we want to hear about it. Tag us at Dog Mom News. And for more content from us, find us on social media at Dog Mom News. So go ahead and give us a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay up to date with everything that we have going on. And we have a lot going on. All right, Dog Mom News is growing, but we do need your help. We ask this of you. Can you do so by hitting the like button on this video? It helps us to bring you more Dog Mom News. And let's be honest, you just cannot get enough, right? But we want you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want you to ring the bell. And also, we want you to comment and just keep the interaction going. We are so grateful for you. You are amazing, and you are part of what makes Dog Mom News so special. We're in this for you, and we're in this for your dog. So let's keep all the fun going. All right, Dog Moms, we mentioned fun, and you know we like to have a lot of fun with our giveaways on our show. So let's go ahead and do that right now. If you are ready for a giveaway, go ahead and type yes in the chat box. I'm sure you will. All right, here's what we're gonna do. First off, I need you to go ahead and like this video and subscribe on our YouTube channel. That's just part of the criteria to win. If you haven't already done that, go ahead and do that now, please and thank you. Just so you know, we do have our staff monitoring the live chat. So whoever types in the correct answer first and does all the other things with liking and subscribing, you're gonna go ahead and be the big winner. So go ahead and do it, as we said. And then also be sure to have your email address ready to submit so that we can go ahead and get you that gift card, because it doesn't help to win if we don't have a way to get in touch with you, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and play this game. It's called Who's That Pupper? All right, so check out the video, and here's the question. Which breed of dog is the one that is pictured? Is it A, B, C, or D? We have 4 more seconds on the clock. A, B, C, or D, Dog Moms. Okay, do you know the answer? All right, and the answer is D, Legato Romanaldo. And there you go. Look at this cute dog. I mean, have you ever seen such a cute dog? It's known as Italy's truffle dog. It combines a curly coat and a cute appearance with a durable working nature. Renowned for their exceptional sense of smell, these dogs expertly locate truffles, a valuable and delicate gourmet item. I mean, that sounds delicious and wonderful and helpful. Legato Roman Galgo. There you go. Just like a mouthful, right? It's like, do you have a truffle in your mouth? Can you just say that right? I won't put you through it again, but you did see the answer on the screen, and you're welcome. All right, dog moms, if I haven't told you enough already, you are amazing. We are so excited and grateful for all the wonderful things happening with Dog Mom News. Thank you for staying with us today. Also, we're going to send that gift card to the winner, by the way. Now, I do want to go ahead and just revisit the fact that we're having a February live training special edition show, okay? And here's what you need to know about it. We have had the opportunity to talk to a lot of extremely talented, incredible trainers and dog behaviorists in the past 33 episodes. We've been at this for a while, and we can't say enough how much we appreciate all of these experts. Well, we've decided to make our next episode a Dog Mom News special report on training, which will be a live show in late February. We're going to be discussing training tips and tricks for dogs of all ages, from puppy all the way to adolescent, and then all the way up to adult and senior. And it's all going to be in one live episode. We're going to be joined by expert trainers live in the show to give their insight on topics that we cover, as well as answer questions and interact directly with you, our wonderful viewers. So you do not want to miss out on the opportunity to participate, to ask your questions, and to be a part of this. You know, this is another milestone for Dog Mom News, and we could not be more excited. So go ahead and stay tuned. We're going to keep you informed on social media. And remember, we want you to be a part of this amazing journey with us. So thank you, Dog Moms. For the most up-to-date information on our upcoming special, our premium membership, and on everything else that we have going on, you can find us on social media at Dog Mom News, and you can also visit us at dogmomnews.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Dog Moms. For all of us at Dog Mom News, I'm Karina Sullivan. Go and hug your dogs for us.